Hello, Hamilton. It's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and start tackling your own to-do list. I'm Bob Assadourian, your host. Welcome to another Just Ask Bob episode. On today's episode, once again, we're kicking it off with an email. Hello, Bob. I am told there are basically two types of Eavestroughs in the marketplace, seamless aluminum and plastic. Is the plastic worth the savings? And Bob, how do I go about getting the seamless ones delivered to my home? My truck or my van is not quite 46 feet long. Ed from Hamilton, Ontario. Thank you, Ed, and not a worry at all because the manufacturer does have a truck that comes up to 150 feet long. No, I'm kidding. You'll see coming up shortly, there's a machine that extrudes and forms the aluminum. This is actually amazing. This machine can extrude a section of Eavestroughs just like the one you're looking at here. Anything from 5 feet, 10 feet, 150 feet. I don't care if your home's on a 300-foot lot with a 200-foot long wall. It will extrude it beautifully. However, you'll need an army of men to carry it up the ladder. Now, we take a moment to explain the various types of Eavestroughs. Typically, the big box stores, they all carry one version or another of plastic. Now, the stuff's junk. Honestly, please take it from me. It's not worth the money savings. The plastic is junk. Sub-zero degree temperatures, the stuff will crack. Next up, the big box stores have Eavestrough, seamless. However, it maxes out at 10 feet. I mean, unless your house is 10 foot by 10 foot, or you have a shed or an outbuilding 10 feet by 10 feet, not quite seamless because you're going to have to overlap the joint and extend it. Then you're going to have to caulk it and you're going to have some leaks and issues. What I like to use is pure seamless Eavestroughs. It comes, again, on a truck. They'll deliver it to your home. They'll charge you by the foot for the amount that you need, and then you can either pay them or a licensed contractor to install, or you can install it for yourself. This here is just beautiful. We're using the modern-day clamps. Now, it depends on what part of Hamilton you live in or how old your home is. If you see nails out at the front, you have the old-style trough. You know, every now and then you've got to go up and bang the nails in because they come loose. What we have now is the hidden bracket with the screw fastener. This hook catches in here. It's locked now. You come back. Locked. Mechanically connected. You'll need a strong drill, preferably Milwaukee. You'll need a 1/4 hex bit. And drive it away. Now, a big caution on the weather. These have end caps. There's going to be an end cap to go on each side. Once the end caps go on, you crimp them on with a crimper. Then you add a couple of screws. And then you must caulk the end caps. You caulk the cutout for the downspout. Now, again, a lot of these caulking manufacturers, a lot of propaganda, they'll say it can be used in wet weather or whatnot. I like to plan these jobs when you know you're going to have 2 dry days in a row to put the caulking on. Ideally, when this is on sawhorses and you're putting in the brackets, as you'll see in the upcoming on-site visit, that'd be the ideal time to caulk it. However, if you're expecting rain, you can still do your first complete installation. Wait until you know you've got some dry weather to put on the caulking. Up next, on location, we're going to install the project. Here we've got this beauty, 27 feet long, end to end, and it is absolutely, truly seamless. No nail holes in the front. It's put on with the hidden brackets. And we've got Andy back again to help us out here. We'll be installing this today. Now, first thing we're going to do is you can see the roof line back here. We need the chalk line. The right's going to be the high end. The far left is going to be the low end. So we have to get a chalk line up there. Andy, give me a hand. We'll get the chalk line started. There you go. Keep that in front of the ladder. You can take it all the way to the end. Bob wasn't cheap. Lots of chalk. You can see. Now you want to get a good outline on it. Okay, Andy, line it up exactly on the mark. Tell me when you have it. Okay. I'll snap it. Nice. Climb down, I'll wind it up. Now, the chalk line's an important guide. See, these eavesdroughs, they're not very thick. So if you don't start fastening it tightly one end to the other, it'll start to buckle on you. And you also want to have your high end and your low end. Okay, we've moved to the other end now. We've got an extra helper. Quick shout out to Marcus in the middle. Thank you, Marcus. Okay, chalk lines are important. Everybody work your way up. Keep your weight leaned inward towards the house. To you, Andy. Andy, are you sticking out about an inch?
Yeah, about. It's good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm good too. Are you on the chalk line?
Yep.
Okay. So see why it's important with the chalk line. This is the high end. Andy's got the low end. Time to fire this baby in. Okay. All right, Marcus, you stay there. You shouldn't really have two men firing it in left to right to the center because you can end up kinking it. Keep it raised, Marcus, a little bit up. You see the blue line? Blue line's our guide. You want to stop the impact just as it touches. Keep focusing on your blue line. A little bit up, Marcus. Today we have way too high chance of rain forecast. So when this unit was down on the sawhorses, ideally we would caulk the end caps. However, we're going to caulk them a later date when we know we're going to have at least 2 dry days of forecast. Andy, how's the chalk line?
It's good.
Are you positive?
Yep.
Andrew. Anytime I call him Andrew, he's upsetting me on the jobs. When I call him Andy, he's pleasing me. Andy, you know I love you. Who's the best boss?
You are, Bob.
Thank you. Now we've moved on. We've completed the eaves trough on the home's roof, which was just a full straight trough, no corners. Now we're working on a shed. This shed is approximately 8 by 10, so it's got 4 walls. It's going to have 4 runs of eaves trough. These are just beautiful. They're from Gentech. Now, very important to note, you must apply caulking to these. On a straight trough, you have to caulk the end caps. On a section of corner, you have to caulk right here, and you have to caulk where your eaves trough comes in. Now, ideally, you want 2 dry days at the time that you're doing the caulking. We've got a pretty high chance of rain this afternoon, so we're not going to do the caulking. If you caulk it and it gets wet before it dries, it's a bit messy. You've got to pull the caulking off. So the caulking can always be done at a later time. Now, to attach this, these troughs can be very heavy. When I'm attaching it, I'm using a 2-inch screw, and this is a number 10 screw. So this is a thicker gauge screw. It's stronger. Slope is not an issue. On an 8 by 10 or 12 by 12 shed, once you have 2 downspouts, you could almost have all of the eaves troughs level. The water is going to find its drop. It's going to find the downspouts and go down. So we're going to set it up right here, pretty close to the brown drip edge. We're going to come in. Never goes perfect. It can be a little awkward. Have to have patience. These screws are a little tricky until they bite. Nice. Now you want to have 2 per side, and you want to keep the screws high. See, this is your water line. I've seen guys put the screws down here. Not a good idea. If it doesn't drain quick enough, you're going to leak. So keep the screws up high. 2 more screws on the other side. You install the 4 outside corners. You install the trough in between. We're going to install downspouts to this shed up next.
In Canada, more than 13 million volunteers contribute over 2 billion hours every year. Volunteers support us in everything we do, and communities thrive because of it. At Volunteer Canada, we encourage and strengthen community involvement. We work with a broad range of partners to promote and support our shared vision of a vibrant Canada. To learn more, visit thenewvolunteer.ca, your connection to Canada's volunteering community.
Possibility. It starts early, before we even know what it is. There's no best before date. It stays with us. When we're down, it shows up unannounced. But it doesn't happen by itself. Behind every changed life is someone who made it happen. Together, we are possibility.
Hello, Hamilton. Welcome back. Another email from a viewer. This one is from Vince in Stony Creek, Ontario. Hello, Bob. Is it easy to install downspouts? Bob, I'm leaning towards buying plastic ones because they are so much more affordable than the metal. Bob, do you think they're going to last long? Well, thank you again, Vince, for the email. And we've put together some information here. We're also going to go on location on one of our R job sites to show you an actual install. Now let's go over what you're going to need to do the job. First of all, here we have plastic. Not very strong. Please save your money. This is absolute junk. I don't recommend the plastic ones at all. Honestly, the only good thing about the plastic is it's very easy to cut. That is the only good thing about the plastic. This is a Bob's Beware. Absolute junk. Forget it. Now, what I do recommend is aluminum. You can get aluminum in different sizes. This is a 3x3. This is probably the largest you would use on a residential home. You'll notice it's square. What's on a lot of older Hamilton homes is the 2x3. But with these torrential downpours we're getting, these heavy storms, you want the size. You want the water to flow down through the eaves trough and out and away. So I strongly recommend the aluminum prevents. Again, see, in the beginning, you'll save a few bucks buying the plastic. But by the time you've done it the second time, you've now spent more money than if you would have used the aluminum in the beginning. So some items that you're going to need. Obviously, you're going to need some tin snips. Very important. You know, they come in a great variety. Please try to buy quality. That's important. So we've got our tin snips. You're also going to need a marker to do a trace outline with. Tape measure. 1/2-inch drill bit. Nice strong drill. An impact if you want to have some fun. You're going to need an elbow. And you're going to need what we like to call a drop. So let me illustrate the drop for you. These elbows come male and female, you know, different ends to the elbows. Once you have the drop installed in your eaves trough, there goes your elbow, probably this way. So this is your soffit, that's your fascia, elbow, sometimes an extension, another elbow, straight down, and then eject into the ground or into the home storm sewer system. So here's the eaves trough. You're going to take the drop. You're going to place it exactly where it's supposed to go. You're going to take your marker. You're going to make an outline. Then what you want to do is make 4 holes, 1 hole in each corner. Now the bit wants to skip. Now you can see I'm trying to stay inside the lines. The biggest mistake you can make is making your hole too big and your drop's literally going to drop to the ground. This should slide in with some resistance, with some friction. You'll see in a moment what the reasoning is behind the 4 holes. Okay. Now we're going to take the snips. We're going to connect the lines. Believe it or not, this would almost be easier up on a ladder just under the roof's edge. But bear with me here with my prop. Cutting sheet metal can be an interesting task. Now for the final cut. Okay. Now, I don't think it's going to fit, but give it a try. Okay. I can see I have to widen it on the right and on the left. You want to have, ideally, a little bit of resistance, a little bit of friction. Not too much. And please make sure, see, this is sharp. Very sharp. You want to be careful. Okay, we'll give it another fit. See, the sides are fine. See how it's dipping in? My right and left is perfect. I have to cut out the rest of the edge here. Another way to do it is to bend it back. Okay. Even it out over here. Then you can clean that up later. Okay. Now again, this will be much easier on your real home where your eavesdrop's not bouncing like mine. Obviously, this is just a prop I've put together. Now, once you've made it all the way through, you can use your snips, you can clean up the perimeter, and then if you want to follow me inside here, on the inside there are 4 pre-made holes. These come factory. So you're going to take a small screw, ideally the same color as the trough. So you're going to screw from the bottom up into the 4 holes. That's going to lock this in. Obviously, you have to seal it. You have to use a gutter type of caulking. You're going to seal all the way around, and then you're going to take it from there. So you're going to be putting this on the wide end. Well, if this is your house, this will go back towards the house. You want to lock all 3 sides, the front, the right, the left, not the back, because that's usually against the building or your home. See that? Everything nice and color matched. An easier way to teach you how to really install this and to demystify the process, we're going to visit one of my R job sites where we actually have an entire length from top to bottom, including the clamping hardware, of a beautiful downspout that we installed some time ago. We're going to take the great effort of deconstructing it and then reconstructing it piece by piece, step by step, so you can learn Hamilton. Now, this is a gorgeous unit. It's real aluminum. It's made by Gentech. As you can see, it's a square. It's a solid 3x3. We have 2 clamps, one at the bottom, one at the top. Now, downspouts come in different sizes. You can get 2x3, which is rectangular. You can also get 3x3. That's about as large as it goes for residential. Commercial jobs, you can go 4x4, 6x4. What I love about the 3x3 is the elbows fit in beautifully. Now, the screws are pebble. So this is the screw that installs the downspout to the elbows, and it's pebble color to match. Now, the screws that we use into the building. So in this particular case, on my job, this is a shed we've installed it on, and I think it's easy to deconstruct, reinstall this one because it's not a 2-story home. But whatever the case is, you want to have at least 2 brackets attaching this to the structure, to the wall. Now, in this case, I chose to use stainless steel screws. They're a very high-quality screw, which won't have any issues at all, and it's the right length to penetrate into the finish of the home. So what we're going to do is get these screws out. Okay. We've got that off. We're going to set it aside for now. As we showed you earlier, this is the drop that comes through the eavesdrop itself. And I'll show you what it looks like once you unattach. You want to use lots of screws because when you've got torrential downpours, you don't want anything to get disconnected. Now, as a 3x3, this can handle a lot of volume. With a smaller downspout, in the case where you don't have enough downspouts, these massive storms, they end up overflowing. So the trough will fill up and it'll overflow. Now see, that's disconnected. Now we're going to move down below, unattach this from the building. There we go. We'll leave the other one on for the moment. Now, in past shows, you've heard me talk about Tapcons. In this particular case, vinyl siding with a very strong 3/4 inch plywood, because Bob built it himself, so you can pretty well put a screw anywhere. If your home has brick, block, or stone, you have to use the according fasteners accordingly. If it's brick, block, or stone, you're going to use Tapcons. We've talked about that on past shows, on past seasons. If it's a stucco home, you're going to have to use a much longer wood screw to get past the stucco and into the structure. Now, we've got this taken apart, and it's very easy at this moment to show you how the elbows are attached. Perfect DIY project, absolutely perfect for homeowners. Very easy to install these. Out and in. Here's the one we took apart earlier. Very easy. Male and female, they fit together. This particular case, we don't have any screws in this one, so let's add one. But you want to make sure you watch the orientation. Let me explain now. Okay, this goes this way. Now, you do not want any screws in the wrong location. The water will come in, the water will flow down and be carried away. Never put screws here. That's where the water travels. You're going to have a leak. You want your screws here, here, and here. No screws in this low area. This is the path of the water. Very easy to get the screws in, and they hold exceptionally well. So again, we're going to stay high above the water line. 1, 2, and number 3. So again, at the beginning of the show, this is the drop. Very important. The drop comes through the eavestrough. You have to have a drop everywhere around the home or the property or the sheds or outbuildings, wherever you're going to have a downspout. So the water comes in, flows down, and it flows on the low side and down. So you don't want any screws right here. Now reattach this. Up. In. You want at least one on every side. You don't have to have it on the side against the building. It's a little awkward to get in with the drill. One more here. Okay. Now we've got our holes from our prior installation, but ideally you want to have a 4-foot level or a 2-foot level. Very important, you don't put these on crooked. So you have it up against the home, you put on your level, and you want to make sure that you're not crooked in either direction. Going to get our bracket in, line up the hole. Now just a hint on vinyl siding. See, I put that in too much. You want to back up a bit. And then play with the siding a little bit. Try to get it to pop. Sometimes it won't. There it is. So watch, this is the wrong way. You can see the siding diving in. You don't want to do that. You don't want to distort the siding. So you want to let loose. Get the other one in on the other side. Okay, now once you have the clamps on, the clamps prevent any movement this way. However, watch. There's still wiggle room that way. So what you want to do also is lock the actual clamp to the downspout. So again, we go back to the pebble-colored screws. So we've got it on. Because you can see in here, they're slack. A little bit of movement. Lock it in place. 1, 2. One more on the other side. There we go. That locks it for side-to-side movement. This way it's locked in the building structure for movement in this direction. Now we're going to finish off with the last clamp. Get it started through the hole. Remember, as I said, you don't want to over squish your vinyl. In, and stop. That's good enough. Well, Hamilton, I hope you appreciate us and give us an A for effort. What we've done is not only install the downspout and teach you, we took the effort to, well, previously install it at one point, deconstruct it on today's episode, reconstruct it step by step to teach you. Now, the only item is I'm not very pleased with the way this elbow ends. Now, this is only a shed. This is a concrete foundation for the shed. But this could be your home. So when it is your home, the water concentrated, always dripping and draining here, can eventually get into your basement and cause problems. Or in the case even of a shed, it can cause frost problems with the water freezing and expanding in the cold season. So you can extend this. If you follow past episodes that we've done, we extend this with a green corrugated tube, or you can even bury it. The whole point is keep the water at least 4 to 6 feet away from your foundation at all times. Wow, it was hot that day. I was sweating buckets. Please, to all homeowners, I want you to have respect for your tradespeople, your contractors, at least the ones that are licensed and legitimate. We work through the freezing cold in the winter, and we sweat buckets, as you can see, during the hot, hot weather. We work hard. Look around you. Everything from that granite countertop to that beautiful trim around your fireplace to the Acropolis in Greece. Everything was created by a master tradesman. So it's very important as a shout out there to have some respect for all the hardworking tradespeople and contractors. Now, follow us online, the largest database on the net, www.justaskbob.com. We've got 3 past seasons of this half-hour show under our belt, plus nearly 100 segments from Hamilton Life. You can learn at your own individual pace. Pause, fast forward, and rewind, and you can learn every aspect of home improvements on our site. Now, we also have a contest going on our Facebook page. Please find us and like us. It's Bob Assadourian, Just Ask Bob. We're having a contest. At some point next year, we are going to pick a winner. So it's going to be based on the most intriguing postings. We want to know what the problem is, why the renovation hasn't been kicked off and kick-started in your own home. Post the details on our page, and we'll let you know once you win. Until next time, thank you.